When Christ sent out his disciples, this was early in his ministry, he sent them out two by two to go through the Israelite towns in Judea to preach the gospel, cast out devils, and he empowered them with power to do so. He told them not to visit any town or settlement that did not belong to the children of Israel. Now, that was an instruction for them at that time, for that moment only. There is one instruction he gave on to them that's also applicable for us today, and it's smart to apply this. Actually, it's quite wise to do so. He said, before you enter a house, or when you enter a house, give the peace greet. So you send peace on that house. And if there's someone in that house that's worthy of the peace, your peace will be in that house. If your peace is refused, then you leave and your peace will remain on you. That's what Christ said. You can read about this in the New Testament for yourself. I want to talk about this instruction Christ gave those disciples. When you enter a place, send peace into that place. That's really what Christ told them. And if the place is not worthy of your peace returns back to you. So in fact, you lose nothing. You have something, peace. Why? Because you have the Holy Spirit, and you send out peace to the place you're attending. If there are people that were worthy of it, your peace will remain there. If there aren't people worthy of it, you don't lose anything. You leave with your peace. So I'm asking you the following question. How often did you send peace before you entered a place? I mean, look, for example, when you have a couple that wants to meet somewhere, they send each other text messages and all kinds of lovely content before they meet at a place, right? Or if they are about to go to a restaurant and the restaurant is often occupied, they tend to call first to see if they can make a reservation. They're being practical. The couple builds a loving atmosphere around them, and if they want to have a date in a restaurant, they tend to check whether there's room for them over there. They're being practical. Okay, let me give another example now of practicality. When a cartel of a country wants to trade with another country, they send their messengers, their spies, to see how the other country is. So let's say you have a Portuguese cartel and they manage the production of grapes and they want to trade wine and grapes with, let's say, Ireland. Do they just load their ships with wine and grapes and ship them off to Ireland, and when the ship arrives in Ireland, now they're going to find a way to sell the product? No. They send someone to Ireland, or a group of people to Ireland, to investigate how the economy of Ireland is and when and where is the best to sell their Portuguese wine and Portuguese grapes. And once the spies return with a report, then the cartel makes a decision, often the cartel leader, how they're going to do it. So they make sure that there are a few people in Ireland willing to import Portuguese wine, and then when the agreement is sealed, they send off the ships to Ireland. Now there may be folks who don't want Portuguese wine because it may go at the expense of the sale of English wine that comes from England. So you may have Irish folks who want to keep a good relationship with the English, and therefore they don't want much of the Portuguese influx in Ireland. But the moment that there are receptors in Ireland for Portuguese wine, the Portuguese cartel that manages Portuguese wine has an advantage. They have something to stand on. And when once their products are in Ireland, it will be difficult to get it out. They act smart in a practical manner. Why am I using those examples of the couple, of going to a restaurant, and of trade? It's because in all those three examples I gave to you, the people were practical. They operate in a practical manner. Now, going back to the question I asked you, how often did you send peace before you entered the place? Or do you just enter a place if you need to do something over there, like you go to the groceries, you go to the grocery store to buy your groceries, or you go to the mall, you go to the bank or to your work. Do you just enter a place because you need to do something over there, or do you send peace before you go there? The reason I'm asking this is because Christ told those disciples to send peace before them. Because sending peace before you is operating in safety, is operating in security. Let me give an example. This may work out in practice. You are about to go on a job interview. So you prepare, you put on your suit and everything, but you pray and you decree peace ahead of you. You even mention by name the location you're going to, and you decree peace over there on your behalf. You speak peace into the circumstance. Now let's say that corporation where you're applying for a job is a fake corporation to cover up satanic operations like prostitution, child pornography, and all of that. You're not aware of that, but let's say that company that you're applying for work is a fake corporation. You're not aware of it, but now you send peace ahead of you. Now what's going on? That fire you sent ahead of you will cause distress will cause distress for the demons in that corporation. And now the demons are realizing that someone unleashed fire on them. And also the people working in that corporation will sense that there is a presence coming, but they don't see anyone there. What happened? You sent your peace ahead of you. So then you arrive at the job, you have your interview, and for some reason the people are uncomfortable with you and you don't get the job. And you had to call back multiple times to get an answer. You couldn't get the job. Even then they couldn't explain it. In this case, you sent your peace ahead of you. But the place was not worthy of your peace. So your peace returned back onto you. And because you sent out your peace ahead of you, all the dangers that were awaiting you over there, all the dangers that you would have encountered, were disarmed. So you arrived safe at the location and you departed without any trouble. Your peace disarmed the dangers that were around. Now, how many of you do this? Sending peace ahead of you. I'm telling you to do this. And let me give another example. People often ask why bad things happen to good people. Folks ask this in the world. But here's the thing. Christ gave us valuable instructions how to anticipate and even disarm danger. It doesn't mean danger is not around, or the danger won't have an effect, but you can overrule and even trample upon the danger and the effects of danger itself. Christ told you how to do it. But a lot of folks don't pay attention to what Christ said. But now, let's say you have a pagan. You have a Vietnamese guy. He's not a believer. He doesn't have the Holy Spirit. He's just a pagan. He's not into harming other people, but he relies on paranormal aid. And this pagan, in his house, in a wardrobe somewhere, he performs ceremonies, or let's say rituals, every morning. And he's doing that with his wife, and also the other people live with him in that place. And that's why everywhere he goes, nobody lays hands on him and nobody looks for a fight. He has no peace to send ahead of him. He doesn't have the Holy Spirit. He only has extended relief from violence. And he sends out familiar spirits ahead of him. He's not aware those are demonic spirits. He thinks those are just his ancestors that are watching over him. But he sends out spirits ahead of him. He's not aware of it, but that's what he's doing. He's sending spirits ahead of him. And those spirits inspect everything. And the demons amongst each other who want to keep the human population trapped now work on behalf of that pagan to keep the pagan trapped in paganism. So that pagan, he goes everywhere, even in dangerous places, nobody harms him. He's practical. He realizes that he needs to be spiritually active, and he can't rely on his own physical strength for everything. He realizes he's vulnerable and that he needs assistance. Now he's deceived. He thinks that his ancestors are working on his behalf, even though in reality those are demons. But he's practical. Now believers who have the Holy Spirit should be far more practical than pagans. Next time you're about to go somewhere, send out your peace ahead of you. I say your peace because you have the Holy Spirit inside of you. Send out peace ahead of you. Think about what I said in the example of that Portuguese cartel. They didn't just send out their ships to islands and then they see what happens. They sent out their ambassadors, their inspectors, so they would receive a report of what's going on in Ireland. And when they had the report, they saw some open doors, some openings they could use. And by taking advantage of those open doors, they managed to get a hold on a part of the Irish economy. And now they could export much of their wine to Ireland, even though naturally many Irish folks didn't want that influx of Portuguese wine because it went at the expense of the Anglo-Irish trade in wine. Yet this Portuguese cartel managed to get a hold into the Irish economy anyway because they acted in a wise manner. The same I'm telling you here. Send out your peace ahead of you. Don't just enter a place just because you need to be there. You don't go into some place that you have nothing there. You don't go into a place randomly just to enter a place. You don't do that. You enter a place because there's something you need to do there. Nevertheless, before you enter a place, send out your peace. I mean it. Send out your peace. And you'll see a difference in how things work out for you. Be at peace.